Welcome to the Mock Box, also known as the Court Martial Podcast. My name is the Colonist, and we got some great news just in the past 24 hours that the very first confirmed name for the WWE Hall of Fame is going to be Kurt Angle, which is, I think, a surprise to a lot of people because nobody really knew what Kurt's current contractual situation is. I know he's got a match in Northeast Wrestling on March the 3rd. I'm not promoting, I'm not a promoter. I'm just talking about him. But he's got a match there against Cody Rhodes, which is the third of the trilogy, which I guess they're going to let him ride out, even though he's going into the Hall of Fame. But, this brings up a lot of questions. Number one, is he going to be returning in ring to WWE? And I have to imagine that at some point, with this bridge rebuilt, that they're going to do it. They're going to say, Kurt, you know what? We need a match for, Brock Lesnar or John Cena, which I could see very much happening, or even AJ Styles. I remember Kurt and AJ having a whole series of house-stealing matches back in 2008, 2009 in the TNA days. And actually, that probably went through from the time that both athletes were there. But it's shaping up to be a pretty decent Hall of Fame class, apart from Kurt Angle. So we'll come back to Kurt Angle in a second, but the rest of the Hall of Fame class, as far as speculation goes, we don't know yet because nothing's been confirmed, that Diamond Dallas Page might go in. We've also heard that Rick Rude might finally be getting the nod to enter the Hall of Fame. Long time, long deserving. One of the really most charismatic guys back in the 80s, early 90s. And on his unfortunate passing, of course, almost 17 or 18 years ago, which is absolutely incredible to think that it's been that long, but long overdue in my opinion for Rick Rude. We also heard Beth Phoenix might go in, which seems like a kind of a strange choice, just because of how recent she was that she competed. I forget what her last match date was, but I think it was in the 20-teens, somewhere in there. I'm probably 2012, 2013 if I'm not mistaken. Because she did retire not too long after Edge retired, and of course they're happily married with 2 children, so shout out to the 2 of them. So Beth Phoenix might get the nod. She's a great worker, nothing against her. It just seems a little soon. Seems a little soon to be giving her the nod, especially with all of the deal with China and that whole situation, and WWE's notoriously bad timing to exploit somebody's death like they do. You would think that China might get the nod this year just because of the whole situation, and rest in peace, China, obviously. But there might still be long-term issues. They might still want to wait that out a little bit more. We also heard that the natural disasters might go in, earthquake and typhoon, and I don't really have that much of an issue with that. Do I think that there are other tag teams that should get the nod before the natural disasters? Maybe. But I also think that there's been a lot of reports that Typhoon's health has not been in good shape. So I almost wonder if maybe they're almost in anticipation of that, giving him the nod. Kind of like they did. I am under the suspicion that that's what they did for the Ultimate Warrior. That Warrior knew he was dying and wanted to patch things up with WWE before he left. Before he left this earth. And, it just kind of fits, and you think maybe that might be why they go in. But who knows? I don't know that for a fact. And I know there's another name. It's escaping me at the moment, but still, notwithstanding, even if all of those are confirmed true, that's a pretty significant Hall of Fame class, and especially headlined by the Olympic hero Kurt Angle, whose 6 years in WWE kind of go without explanation. I mean, he had the greatest rookie year of any professional wrestler in WWE. AJ Styles probably coming in a close second, who came in, had marquee matches right off the bat, starting from the Rumble, going on to WrestleMania to face Jericho, going into world title matches right after that, and being the current heavyweight champion, pinning John Cena clean. I mean, really, that's only seconded to Kurt Angle, who won the Intercontinental, European Championships. I think at one point he was a tag champion in that time, and then won the world title all in 1 year. So, and as far as Kurt, the more questions that come up are, Well, if he's gonna compete, who does he then face? Because naturally, I think Kurt is at the point in his career where he needs to give something back. You know, he needs to give that rub to somebody. But who gets that rub? And it's kind of a question here of expectations versus reality. Because I think the expectation, at least for a lot of the IWC, and at least in my opinion, that Kurt should really work to put over somebody who really could move forward the company, is going to be a mainstay for them for the next, maybe even the next decade. One of the big names that comes to mind as far as who I would enjoy watching Kurt face is, believe it or not, I'm going to say that I would love to watch Kurt Angle face Sami Zayn. Just for the chemistry that Sammy exudes, that positive energy, and I could see Kurt very much clinging on to that, and he's kind of his snarky heel, being like, I'm the best, why are you cheering this guy? All he is a ginger with a flat cap, and he's got Arabic on his pants, like, so what? I could see that, but it's clear that the machine really isn't behind Sammy, which is unfortunate. It really is, because I think that he is a phenomenal worker, one of the best they have. But of course, I'd also like to see Kurt. Naturally, I'd love to see the Brock Lesnar Kurt Angle rematch after all this time. I'd love to see Kurt and Joe go at it. Kurt and Samoa Joe go at it again. I'd like to see Kurt and Finn. It's amazing because Kurt is one of those athletes, one of those rare athletes that you can put into a match with anybody on that roster, and it'll feel more important. It'll feel like a big stakes situation, and it's gonna end up being a great match. Shawn Michaels was very much the same way. When he wasn't being pissy, Shawn could get into the ring and make a good match with basically anybody. And I think that Jericho has also kind of reached that level, and save for the Ambrose Asylum match, which has mixed opinions. It was slow paced, but I'm a big fan of the slow pace. But I think Jericho's getting to that point too, where he's one who can have great matches with anybody. I think AJ is also in that group of people. So who he faces, I don't know, but there are a lot of exciting things to think about. It's a shame that he wasn't able to face Daniel Bryan, but I also think that it's not so much a loss when there's so many other good, viable talent who could use the push. Obviously, I think having him and American Alpha working together, it very much feels World's Greatest Tag Team-esque. But here's my comment about that. If they do decide to pull the trigger on that and have American Alpha and Kurt Angle hop together, I think there are going to be so many members of the IWC who wanted that to happen, who then are going to say, oh, well, they're just redoing the World's Greatest Tag Team. Why doesn't Kurt do something different for a change? He shouldn't be held down by Alpha, or vice versa. And then, in typical WWE fan fashion, they'll turn right on the idea that they invented themselves, and then everybody just feels groaning and miserable, and then you wonder why WWE's product is bad. Because whenever they listen to the IWC, they change their opinion. Just when you think, we really have Roddy Piper WWE, because every time that they think that they have the answer, we change the questions. And then they have to make up for that. And not to say that WWE isn't to blame, but I think that we, as fans, need to take a little bit of that responsibility. But getting off topic, Kurt Angle, WWE Hall of Fame, congratulations. I'm very excited. This might be the first time I watched the Hall of Fame ceremony in some time. I didn't watch last year. Not to say that I didn't approve of the people who went in last year, but if these confirmed other names are the ones going in, it's going to be a tremendous night, and it's going to be a tremendous Hall of Fame class. So I think that's going to do it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Do that. Right underneath here, you have any questions you want me to talk about when it comes to the professional wrestling world or sports entertainment, doesn't matter what you call it, feel free to put it in the comments and I will give you a shout out on the next video. Thank you very much for listening to the Mock Box. My name is The Colonist, and I'll catch you later.